I fell in love with the mall Santa. The last thing I expected was to be pushed to the ground by a feral mall shopper. The other last thing was for Santa to step in and save me from the wrath of a man who looked ready to eat me alive. Come here. The voice whispered behind me, just as the big, muscular man grabbed the TV from the side, ready to haul it at me. Yeah, maybe I should get out of here. Scrambling, I grabbed the dollhouse and raced toward the source of the voice, who beckoned me behind the curtain. I slipped behind it, only to feel a red, velvety body next to me and a white beard tickling my shoulders. Shh. You don't want to be spotted, right? I shook my head. Not at all. Then come with me. It seemed insane to follow a guy dressed as Santa, but I guess when you're Christmas shopping 3 days before the holiday, you have to do the insane. Santa extended a gloved hand and I took it. There, he guided me through the store, over to the cashier. He shuffled me to the side of the line. A couple people gave me looks, but he brushed them off. There you are! Give me back my house! The rampaging, huge guy that tried to attack me earlier raced over, pushing people out of the way. Jeez, what type of guy was he? Panicking, I looked over to see Santa winking. I had to get this for my daughter. I refused to let Carrie get the better of me. It seems stupid to let a Christmas present take such a forefront, but when your life is falling apart after a messy divorce, there's little you can do about it. Ho, ho, ho! Santa's here to spread Christmas cheer. His voice, in contrast to the one he used before, was close enough to attract all these people's attention. The kids alone flocked to him like bees to honey. The guy moved, using the opening to get to me, when a little hand grabbed his shorts. Daddy, I want to go meet Santa. No, sweetie, we can't. Gabe, let's go. A woman pushed him out of the way, and soon the guy was gone. Sighing, I rubbed my temples, puffing out a breath of relief. As I held the dollhouse in my hand, a myriad of feelings coursed through me. Santa Claus saved me. But why? A million questions rushed through my head, and it made me realize that this Christmas shopping was not what I needed. By some miracle, I got out of there an hour later. Even with Santa, the line was still excessively long. Now, though, I had something to get to Savannah. The dollhouse that she wanted. I hoped that it would make Christmas a little better for us. All I wanted was to make her smile. My phone buzzed, and I looked down, grimacing. I'm taking Savannah for the holidays, Rowan. You can have her after. I have a special present for her, since it's her first Christmas with separate families. Anger boiled inside me. I wanted to give Carrie a piece of my mind. She controlled everything, just like how she always did. It's no wonder we ended up getting divorced. Before I could get my word in, something pushed into me, and my phone nearly flew out of my hand. I'll message her later and tell her that she's not taking Savannah for Christmas. I stepped to the door and the employee bade me farewell. I waved, hoping that this was the worst part. Then I saw the lines. All the people crowded the one way out where my car was. Supposedly, this was some sort of a sale for refrigerators or something like that. Not that I needed any of that. I glanced at my watch. I need to get out of here soon. What in the world do I do? Over here. It was that voice again. I looked and saw the mall Santa waving his arms a little bit. Did this guy know me or something? I weighed my options, knowing that there was very little I could do, so I crept on over and joined him over to the side. What are you doing here? Spreading the Christmas joy, of course, the man said. And you need to find your way back to your sleigh, don't you? I figured this guy was probably talking about my car, so I said, yes. Yeah, I do. Then follow me. He walked away and I followed. He gestured to a small vent. I looked at him, confused as could be. You can't fit in there. Oh, but I can. The magic of Christmas makes it fit. He grabbed something underneath his coat and deflated the suit. Wow, I guess all these mall Santas aren't that fat. The din grew louder as people started to come this way. Little kids spoke and I heard their words. I saw Santa over there. All right, sweetie, let's go find him. We had to go fast. The guy gestured inside and I scrambled in there, following him. I closed the vent just as kids walked by. It was Christmas magic, all right. The mall Santa didn't say much more. However, as I followed him, I couldn't help but shake the feeling that we knew each other. Something connected us together. Something he didn't let on. We finally popped out, except instead of being inside a warehouse, it was like a cafe sort of place. Brushing off my slacks, I took in the sight, seeing the people eat there. What is this? Just a secret little cafe for the elves and Santa. That had to be code for a staff lounge, but it seemed like everyone was dressed as elves. A woman who looked like Mrs. Claus ran the cafe. The guy gestured to the seat. Take it, I'll get us some cocoa. Oh, I should be going. With that crowd, you're lucky to get at this point. Here, we have a few minutes. I pursed my lips. I did need to get home to Savannah at some point. She was 10, but I still felt weird leaving her alone for too long. Still, the guy didn't seem too awful, and I also felt like I recognized him from somewhere. I didn't know too many guys who did the mall Santa shtick. I slipped into the seat and waited for him to come back. He brought over 2 cups of hot cocoa and a plate of cookies. He placed them down on the table and took the seat across from me. Thanks. No problem. Dig in. I took a bite of the cookie and the hot cocoa, sighing. Thanks again. I'm just glad that I could do this for my daughter. I'm happy to help. She'll love it. I smiled. Sure hope so. Things haven't been easy for me ever since my divorce from my wife. This is going to be the first Christmas where she won't have the both of us at the same place. I just want to make her happy. I'm trying to do things right after everything going wrong in her life. My face fell thinking about it. I wanted to give my daughter everything. Trying to co-parent with Carrie was exhausting. Santa patted me on the back and nodded. I'm sure she'll love whatever you give her. The joy of Christmas is giving. Remember? I hope so. It hasn't been easy for either of us. Savannah learned why we got a divorce, and she's still a little unhappy. What happened? If you don't mind me asking. I'm just a jolly old man and all. Normally, I wouldn't say anything, but something about this guy seemed so familiar, like he understood me. Did this guy know me from somewhere? Taking a deep breath, I spoke. She slept with another man and betrayed my trust. But then, during the argument, it slipped that I was bisexual. She said she couldn't be with someone like me, who refused to choose a side. I felt disgusted as I uttered those words. I loved Carrie, and she tossed me away. Upset by the memories, I struggled to keep it together. The mall Santa touched my hand. When he did, sparks flowed between us. He was so familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Why? Was it because he listened better than the therapist I went to? Or was there something more there? Sorry, I got a little carried away. Not at all. I'm sorry that happened. But you need to remain true to yourself. If you have feelings buried there, let the world know. Santa gestured to his heart and laughed jovially. I smiled, and some of the weight lifted off my chest. True. Thank you. It's strange, but I feel a connection with you. Do I know you from somewhere? The mall Santa paused, but said nothing. Let's just make sure that all the good boys and girls are taken care of. That doesn't tell me anything, I replied. The mall Santa stood up and smiled, his cheeks rosy. I've seen you here before, a few times with your daughter. You took her to see me the other week, right? I nodded. I did. Surprised you remembered. You have a recognizable face, among other things. Other things? Just how did this guy know me? I wanted to ask, but then I heard the rumbling whistle. All of the elves scattered as a guard walked by the entrance. Alright, I need Noah on deck. Noah, head over there. We need you to take over the crazy shift we got right now. Wait, Noah? Did he mean, I've gotta go? The mall Santa said, adjusting his voice so it was a bit more muffled. Wait, Noah? He turned around and gave me a wink. I hope Christmas is magical for both you and your daughter. Don't let Carrie's words get the best of you. Do what makes you happy. Before I could respond, he disappeared with the guard. The door closed, and I stood there. I remembered Rowan all right. He was my first crush. I always had feelings for him, and I wanted to confess the day before graduation, but I decided against doing so because I was scared of being judged. After high school, we parted ways and grew apart. I became a dad, and who knows what Noah's doing now. Now knowing that he may be Santa Claus, I'm looking for igniting those feelings again. Did I even have a chance though? Or was I riding off a high or something that didn't exist? Either way, I need to get out of here before I was spotted. With a sigh, I left the area and headed through the door, clutching the box underneath my armpit. If I had a chance, I need to find out if Noah and the mall Santa were the same person. But first, I needed to find a way out of here. The doors created the biggest catacombs I'd ever seen. I moved through them, and then I was back in the hallway, where I was in relation to the rest of the mall. Glancing to my left, I saw the heads of shoppers, all of whom were rushing towards something. There was still a sea and a crowd. I better go follow them. I headed in that direction, eventually making it to the sea. The bodies pushed me forward, even if I didn't want to go, like zombies looking for food. They all headed towards the electronics store in hopes of getting the last sale. Don't worry about them, Rowan. You have to get out of here. I passed by so many stores, all of which were filled. At this point, we had to break the fire code. I continued until I found a brief respite. I looked to the left, seeing the entrance I came from, freedom. Knowing I didn't get to see the mall Santa again panged me with regret. Why was I still hung up on it? It wasn't like Noah would want me or anything, right? He didn't feel the same way I did. My crush was just that, a crush. And I had to accept it for what it was. I sighed, heading that way when something big pressed against me. I flung to the ground, Savannah's dollhouse flying to the side. Hey, what are... Another guy walked over, this time with brown hair and brown eyes that looked lifeless. A smirk crossed his face and he grabbed the box. I knew there was one lying around. Thanks, my daughter would love it. You get back here! I raced over, ready to launch a punch, when a clock glanced my way. That was not a good idea. The last thing I wanted to do was be arrested on Christmas. The guy saw my hesitation and chuckled. You snooze, you lose. Hey, wait! Before I could respond, he raced out of there with the dollhouse in hand. My world collapsed, and the regret pulled. The one thing I wanted for my daughter, and now I lost it. I'm not out of the game yet. I stood up, wiping my pants, and I rushed after him. I would get it back, or I'd pull off some miracle. The sea of shoppers was relentless, but I love my daughter, and I'd do whatever it took to make her light up on Christmas. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The guy disappeared into the crowd, so I was alone once again. The stores looked picked over as shoppers ran out with their spoils. I felt like a defeated army losing the one victory I wanted. It was over. Frustration boiled inside me. I just wanted Savannah to be happy. I wanted to give her a magical Christmas because I felt like it was the only thing I could do. If I mess this up, she might not want to live with me. Carrie might take away my visitation rights. Now I messed that up. I kicked the ground and looked around. Maybe there was more at the store. I raced over there and headed inside. But sure enough, all the aisles were completely empty. The dollhouses were also gone too. Everything I wanted was gone. My hands tightened as anger pulsed through me. I looked around and saw a guy who looked like the one who stole the dollhouse. You! I rushed towards there, following the guy. So began my chase to reclaim what's mine and make Christmas meaningful. I rushed around the entire mall, going up and down escalators and stairs, even having to maneuver around the elevator. But that guy, the one who took the dollhouse from me, was faster, and navigating these crowds without pushing everyone away was becoming increasingly difficult. Something needed to happen, something soon. The guy's head headed towards the mall Santa display, jumped over the fence, and I followed him. We got right in front of the mall Santa. I reached forward, but the guy smirked. "Give it back." "No, it's mine. You dropped it." The other parents and kids looked at one another, talking amongst themselves. A few mothers got mad and started shouting at us. "Hey, there's a line! We were here first!" Their cries were crowned by the laughing at the other guy. He pushed me to the side, and I fell there, wincing. "That's going to leave a mark." The guy laughed. "Done already? You don't deserve it." "No, I'm never done." I stood up, rushing towards him. But then, a woman's voice penetrated through the air, once I recognized instantly. "Craig?" What the? I turned and saw the woman. Sure enough, it was exactly who I thought it was. My ex-wife, Carrie. Her heels clicked over, but I noticed she wasn't wearing a business suit. Instead, she wore an elf costume. "Carrie, it's not what it looks like. You told me you were getting a house for Savannah, and now you're over here fighting with Rowan?" Our eyes met. Anger flashed across my face. "Yes, I bought that for Savannah." She rested her hands on her hips. "I see. Well, if you'd be so kind, I'll reimburse you so Craig and I can give it to her." She'd have to be insane to think otherwise. "No, and I'm not letting you have it for Christmas either," I snapped. Carrie's eyes grew wide. She grabbed Craig, who stood there, his burly body standing behind her. "Well, you don't get a choice. I already said so. I'll be over there on Christmas Eve for her." "Too bad. I'll talk to my attorney about you violating the agreement. You agreed to it." By now, we had a whole crowd. The anxiety washed through me, but I refused to stop. Carrie huffed and rolled her eyes. "Whatever. Just give me the dollhouse then. You can get her something else, I guess." "No, I bought this for her. She's my daughter. I wanted to make things right, and maybe with this, we can get closer." I shook my head and folded my arms across my chest. "No, I'm not doing that. It was actually a gift from me." Santa walked out from behind the chair, Carrie tense, and she looked at him. I'm sorry, Santa. I didn't know." "You two better leave now, or I'll have to put you on the naughty list. Then again, if you're stealing and causing trouble like this, maybe you're already on the list." She stiffened, and I chuckled. "Thanks, Santa." "This isn't over." Her eyes lingered on Santa once again. "My fiancé and I worked very hard to get that." "I'm sure you did, but I saw him pay it for himself. Or maybe I should have security for the footage." She scoffed. "Whatever, come on, let's see if we can get another gift." "Wait, aren't you on the clock?" Carrie turned to Craig and shook her head. "No, I quit. You can take this over. I only wanted this job to get an early start on Christmas shopping. But it looks like my ex-husband is trying to cause trouble." "I'm doing no such thing, Carrie. And I'll be keeping my daughter for Christmas. I'll have a talk with the lawyer about this as well." Carrie looked at me, stunned at my words. Finally, she scoffed and walked away with Craig. I stood there, completely taken aback by the sight. What was her problem? This is not what I expected. I turned to Santa, looking at me. "Thank you, Santa," I grunted. "That was really nice." The mall Santa laughed jolly. "I'm glad I could help. You and Savannah were both on the nice list, Rowan Anderson." "How did he—" Santa put a hand on his lips and then winked. He walked a little bit closer, and soon the sparks between us grew. "Tell you what, if you can stick around for a bit, I'll be off, and we can talk then." I knew exactly what he meant by that. I nodded, and then Santa walked away. tending to the other kids and equally frustrated moms. I stood there, still reeling over the words. He did know it was me. Suddenly, the crush I had on him came back with a vengeance. All those years of hiding away and not being truthful to myself sprung up. Now, this is my chance, and I have to take it. I put the dollhouse in my car. Carrie didn't call me to apologize for Craig's actions. Figures. The woman never told me anything about her life. She only spoke to me if it had something to do with Savannah. It didn't matter. Right now, all I could think about was the discussion with Noah and the feelings I wanted to express. I hung around the mall cafe until evening. Savannah's babysitter agreed to watch her tonight. I paid her extra. She was a good woman and deserved every penny she got. Footsteps clicked at the end of the night. The chaos of Christmas shopping was over, but the lingering remains sat there. Every store was cleared out, and every single place had shelves barren. It was like a tornado hit the place. Rowan. I got up and saw Santa walking towards me. I chuckled, shaking my head. Are you done with that getup? Santa walked over and pulled off the beard and hat. Sure enough, a head of blonde hair and a gentle pouty smile appeared. I just wanted to wear it one last time around you. Noah walked over. Our bodies lingered close together. He smelled like peppermint and pines, alluring and sweet. It's good to see you again, he said. It's good to see you too. There was so much I wanted to say. Noah turned and gestured to one of the restaurants nearby. Here, my treat. I want to play catch-up. Me too. We went to the first place we could. A steakhouse. After ordering, Noah and I began talking. He told me he took this mall Santa job to supplement his income. Do you need help? Nah, I just like doing it. It's fun bringing light to kids' faces. That is, I said, smiling. Thanks again back there. I never thought that my ex-wife's new fiance would do such a thing. Yeah, well, it was clear she didn't have good intentions either. She was one of those new helpers that always got on my nerves, so no love lost. I chuckled. I do appreciate what you did. I've been so stressed about the holidays and trying to make things right for Savannah. It was the one thing that ate all my attention. All I wanted was for Savannah to have a good Christmas. Noah rested his hand on mine. She will. If there's anything you need me to do, I'll do it. Thank you. I'll have to keep away from Carrie, but I think I can manage that. I could dress up as Santa again. It might help. I laughed. The tension in the air dissipated and became levity. I may need you to take you up on that. We talked a little bit about the divorce and the stress of being a single father. I found solace in talking to Noah. He understood me better than any of the dates I've been on, that's for sure. Leaning back, I sighed and smiled. It's been a while, hasn't it? Oh, it has. I must say though, you're looking good, Rowan. As do you, I purred. The desire and magnetizing feelings clicked once again. Throughout dinner, Noah and I exchanged stories. The two of us reconnected like no time passed. I'm sorry I never reached out, I began. After I got married and had a kid, things were complicated. Totally fine. My life hasn't been easier either. Between ex-boyfriends that were toxic, old bosses that were a whole mess, and my own sanity being torn apart, I also got busy. Yeah, but it's good to see you again. It's good to see you too. You're still as attractive as you were back then, you know. I flushed. Hearing Noah say that so casually did something to me. You as well. Good. He looked outside and saw the snow beginning to fall. You know, it's strange. I do the whole Santa shtick for money, but maybe this Christmas magic after all. Fate bringing us together. Yeah, it does feel that way. Dinner came, and the conversation ended. After we got up, Noah walked me to the car. When we got there, he stopped. The snow gently falling around us. He reached out and caressed my cheek. You know, Rowan, I always liked you. I just didn't have the guts to say it. I did too, I finally said. The day before graduation, I wanted to confess, but I was nervous. I still struggled with my bisexuality for a while. Well, you're single now, right? I nodded. Then how about you and I try again? I saved you once, so maybe this is a blessing in disguise, and fate is bringing us together. And that's what it felt like. It truly did feel like we were meant to be with each other. With a smile, I sighed. Yeah, I like that. I always liked you, Noah. And I always liked you, Rowan. Our lips crushed together in a passionate kiss. The sparks between us grew so strong, almost overwhelming. He grabbed my waist and I gasped, allowing his tongue inside. It was the perfect moment, a Christmas miracle. I pulled away and smiled. You know, I wouldn't mind you coming over if you wanted. Christmas is in a few days, and if you don't have anything, I would love that, Rowan. It would be great to spend the holidays with you. We exchanged numbers and parted ways, my heart fluttering thinking about this. Noah and I reconnected, and it was magical. This truly might be the Christmas present I've been waiting for. When I got home, Savannah came out of her room, her eyes wide. Dad! Hi, sweetie. I pulled her into my arms and enveloped her in a hug. She looked up, eyes blinking. Did you get my present? I smiled and nodded. Sure did. Thanks, Dad. Oh, and can I spend Christmas with you? Sure. I might have someone coming over to spend the holidays with us. That's okay, right? Savannah looked at me with curiosity. Is it a girlfriend? I pursed my lips. Savannah kind of understood the concept of sexuality. I shook my head. It's a guy. That's okay, right? Savannah nodded. As long as you're happy, Daddy. It relieved me to hear this. I wanted to be happy and give Savannah the best Christmas ever. Thank you, sweetie. I hugged her again, and then Savannah went off to bed. Carrie called again, and after some back and forth, she finally gave up. Fine, you can have it for Christmas. I was going to spend it with Craig's family anyway. Alright, have a good holidays. Happy holidays. I hung up, breathing a sigh of relief. It looked like everything was finally coming together to be a decent holiday after all. Noah came over first thing that morning. We opened presents, and Savannah got not only the dollhouse she wanted, but the dolls too. Courtesy of Noah. He really was Santa, getting those items when it was impossible to do otherwise. It was perfect. By the end of the night, as snowflakes drifted down, we sat on the couch together. Savannah was in her room playing with her spoils. This has been a great Christmas. It has. I never realized just how nice it would be to spend it with you, Noah said. Me too. My heart raced as I reached for the gift in my pocket. I did buy you something. I remember when we were younger, you wanted to see them in concert, so I gave him the box. Noah opened it. It was tickets to his favorite band, just the two of us. Oh, Rowan. I wanted to do something nice. Christmas magic, right? He enveloped me in his arms and held me tightly. I basked in the presence, loving every second. Our lips came together in a long, passionate kiss. When he pulled away, he smiled. I got something for you too. He gave me a present, which was the cufflinks I wanted. I grinned and embraced Noah. We hugged for a little while, and then I pulled away. So, do you want to keep trying? Of course, he replied with a grin. I want to try this out. Just the two of us. Savannah loves me so far. She does. I chuckled. Much more than her mom's boyfriend. Looking over at Noah, I beamed. But yeah, let's see what happens. I feel like this adventure is perfect for the two of us. It sure is. I never would have thought that job would bring me to you, but I'm glad I did it. Me too. Indeed. But you do make a nice mall Santa. Maybe you could wear it again? I asked with a wink. Noah leaned in and kissed me. I'm sure I could put it on right now, since you've been a good boy on the nice list. We kissed again. It was the best Christmas ever, and as we made love, I realized this was the man I wanted, my Christmas gift from an unlikely sort of place. Noah and my relationship became stronger than ever. After that Christmas, we started going strong, seeing each other as much as we could. We fell in love harder, and 2 Christmases later, he popped the question. Of course I said yes. Savannah was happy since her dad was happy. As for my ex-wife and Craig, I don't really know. What mattered to me was the love I had with Noah and how an unlikely adventure showed me the power of love. The end. Have you ever reconnected with someone in an unlikely place? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of our rainbow force and stay wholesome.